Hello folks, welcome back again to Quick Clip Tip Clips. Quick Clip Tips. Quick Tip Quicks Clicks. Welcome to it. Well, welcome back folks to Quick Click Tips. Oh, man, I can't say it one slow. Say it 10 times fast. You have got to try that. Do it! What are we talking about today? Well, you know, people ask me all the time, I have so-and-so guitar, alright? I've got this guitar or that guitar. What gauge strings do you recommend? I've got videos about this. If you watch my older videos, they're not that old. I did one on electric guitar not long ago, and I got an older one on acoustic guitar, string gauge. But I get asked it all the time. What gauge strings do you recommend for this guitar? What gauge strings do you recommend for that? Mostly acoustics, but electrics too. You don't just throw any gauge strings on your guitar. Like here's 11s to 52s, earthwood. Here is 12s to 54s. What you got to do, again, I'm saying it again, what you got to do, look it up online. Google your guitar specs. Whatever guitar that you're talking about, you want to know the string gauge of it, Google it, and it'll tell you the specs, what strings the manufacturer recommends you use on that guitar. Now you can go maybe one gauge above that or one gauge below it without hurting your guitar. But you take a guitar that takes the specs, say the low E string is supposed to be .052, and you put a .056 set of strings on that guitar, you're probably going to pull the neck off of it, the tailpiece, the bridge, or something that's going to break. Because it's not designed for that. That's the thing people have trouble getting in their head. Your guitar, especially acoustics, but electrics too, only not as much. Your guitar was built with a set of string gauge in mind. It was built around a certain string gauge, and that's what you should always use on that guitar. You see a lot of these old harmonies, I get them here all the time, and the neck's pulled up on them, you can't straighten them out, and the action that high on them, and they'll have 56 gauge, 13 to 56 gauge strings on it. You guys probably been laying around in the closet somewhere for 25 years with that stress on the guitar. Sure, it's going to give. You know, you should go with what feels good with you. Like I say, if you can go one gauge over or one gauge under, it's fine. Any more than that, you're asking for trouble. I mean, you're putting stress on your guitar like it was never designed to handle. It might even sound better with heavy strings as opposed to its recommendations of light ones or lighter ones. But you know, keep that in mind. I get a lot of D28 Martin, well, not necessarily D28s, or D28s too, Martin guitars. I get a lot of them in here. I had a Santa Cruz here just not long ago, and the bridge was pulling up on it. And the bass, the low E string, get this, I don't know what kind of strings it was, and I asked the owner about it, and he said, yeah, that's what it is. It was a .057 on that guitar. I said, good Lord, man, that's a light gauge bass string. It's no wonder the bridge was pulling off of it. I don't know what the other ones were, I can't remember, but I don't even know a guitar company that makes strings, I guess they do, that go up to .057. I guess somebody makes them because it was on that Santa Cruz. Anyways, I had to take the bridge off of it, clean it all up, re-glue the bridge back on, set it all up and everything, and you know, it was fine, but still cost him some pretty big money. And you know, he's going to keep using the .057, he said. But yeah, your guitar was built with a gauge of strings in mind, and you know, the bracing, everything will not hold outside of that range. If you go, you know, to a whole lot heavier string like he did, something's going to give, and eventually over time, depending on the guitar, how well it's constructed, it's going to happen, period. Look up the specs on your guitar, look up the specs on your guitar, and see what the manufacturer recommends the string gauge for it. Stay with that. You go one over it or one below it, but no more than that, ever. If you can't find specs on your guitar, like this guitar right here, I can't pick it up and show you, maybe you can see it. It's the one I'm putting that Carlos pickup in. It's not a D28, I'm not really sure what it is. Martin Ford signed it. It's got some writing on the neck block. It just says Martin Custom Shop and serial number, I think. But I haven't found anywhere on it. Of course, I haven't really got in there and looked hard for it, but it's not a D28. It's built on a D28 scale. But what the point I'm trying to make is, if you can't find information, specs on your guitar, the one you want to know about the string gauge, look up one as close like it as you can. You know, if I was going to look up the specs on this guitar, I'd just look up a D28 because it'd be the same thing. It would be very close to the same thing. And that'll get you in the ballpark if you can't find the actual guitar that you're looking for the gauge for. Anyways, don't do it. Don't put big heavy strings on your guitar if it's recommended for a light gauge. Don't put little light slinkies on your guitar if it's recommended for heavy gauge, because you're just going to ask them for trouble, man. That's the quick clip tip. I see people in Facebook groups talking about this. I got a D28 Martin. I got maybe 9s on it or 10s. That's way too light for that guitar. It ain't going to hurt it because there's not much stress on that. But you're never going to get to play right or sound right or get a good setup on it. Well, you could set it up close, but just stick with the gauge the manufacturer recommends for your guitar, and you'll be a whole lot happier camper, I promise. Quick clip tips. Say it as fast as you can, 10 times. And I'll see you next time. Cheers to you.